From KTVN, this is 2 News Nevada, Morning Edition.
A neighborhood in Cold Springs had to be locked down yesterday. We have the reason why. That's coming right up.
Plus, maybe you saw this, a strange light flying across the sky earlier this week. What experts say it could have been is straight ahead.
And the temperature dial is set on warm for now, but some cooler air arrives tomorrow as well as plenty of wind. All the details coming up.
Good morning and thank you for starting your Wednesday with us. I'm Kyle Louder.
And I'm Faith Justice. So glad to be with you. Starting in Crime Beat, a neighborhood was put on lockdown as deputies tried to arrest a man who allegedly assaulted his neighbor with a weapon.
So Washoe County deputies responded to a home in Cold Springs around 1:30 yesterday afternoon on a report that the neighbors were arguing. When deputies arrived, they tried to get the suspect, later identified as Michael Komish, out of his home, but he did refuse to come out. The sheriff's office hostage negotiation and SWAT teams eventually entered the home and took Komish into custody. He's now facing multiple charges, including assault with a deadly weapon, unlawful act with bodily fluid, and battery on a peace officer.
Also in Crime Beat, a man accused of shooting someone in Placerville, California, has been arrested. The El Dorado County Sheriff's Office says Monday afternoon, deputies responded to a home on Rocky Ridge Road for a report of a shooting. When they got there, they found an injured 56-year-old man. First responders took him to the hospital, and deputies later identified 57-year-old Sven Josta Mentor as the suspect and arrested him. His charges include assault with a firearm and being a felon in possession of a firearm.
And a man has been found guilty for beating and sexually assaulting a homeless woman back in 2021. The Washoe County District Attorney's Office says 33-year-old George Claros was found guilty of 2 counts of kidnapping and sexual assault, as well as 1 count of battery with intent to commit sexual assault. Claros is scheduled to be sentenced on June 9th.
And a man has been arrested for allegedly sexually assaulting a minor in Elko. Elko police arrested 50-year-old Mauricio Urbano de la Luz last week. Officers say on March 16th, they received a report of a child who was a possible victim of sexual assault. Police later identified de la Luz as a suspect and put out a search warrant for him. He's being charged with a single count of sexual assault with great bodily injury. And the Lyon County Sheriff's Office arrested a Tier 2 sex offender for allegedly violating his registration requirements. Deputies arrested 50-year-old Robert Thomas Weathers of Dayton on Saturday. They say they arrested him while their sex offender task force was conducting compliance checks.
And we'll go to Space Watch now. Many viewers have been sending in videos and pictures of a strange light seen from 5 different states in the sky earlier this week, including right here in Nevada. The American Meteor Society says it is not a fireball or a meteor of any kind, but it is most likely space debris from a rocket or a satellite. More specifically, it could be from the SpaceX Dragon Freedom 2 satellite that initially launched at the end of September of last year from Cape Canaveral. The Society's map shows the debris entering the atmosphere west of Stockton and moving all the way up to Fallon before disappearing. And we spoke to one community member who saw it happen firsthand.
We didn't know what it was. It kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and we were like, what is that? The tail got longer and it started breaking up. As soon as it started breaking up, I was like, wow, we're seeing falling debris from space. We don't know if it was a meteor, satellite, or a rocket, but it was pretty obvious what it was after it started breaking up.
Well, according to Aerospace, debris from the satellite was predicted to fall back into the atmosphere on Monday night. There were no crew members in the falling debris. American Meteor Society tells us the way that you can tell if something in the sky is a meteor or just space junk is speed and time. They say meteors enter the atmosphere at high speeds and rarely last more than a few seconds, while debris is much slower and can last up to a minute or more. Now, that debris completely disintegrates, right? It doesn't just land on the open plains or God forbid a city or something like that, right?
I have no answers. I do not know the answer.
I think it burns up entirely, but Angela Schilling is waiting very patiently over there in the Stormwatch Weather Center. Good morning, Angela.
Yeah, good morning. And unfortunately, I don't know the answer to that as well. But today, one thing you can count on is more wind. It is going to be breezy by this afternoon. Wind gusts will be in the 30s. Still a good amount of sunshine today, but turning partly cloudy by this afternoon. And today will be the last day with temperatures into the 70s, and tomorrow will be in the 60s. So nothing frigid is really on the horizon here, but it's just not going to be the wall-to-wall sunshine where it's just beautiful and picture perfect out. There's going to be a lot of wind throughout the day tomorrow as well. Wind gusts today will be in the 30s, and even up in the mountains. Can't rule out a few inches of snowfall by Thursday evening. Tomorrow, though, again, we do have that high wind watch for anyone in this gold colored. So that's anywhere from Washoe County down through Douglas County, and includes Humboldt County, Churchill County, and Pershing County as well. Could see wind gusts over 60 miles per hour. Today will be breezy, and high temperatures will be well above average by about 15 degrees. So still feeling like spring today. The only downfall really is going to be the wind as an area of low pressure starts to get closer to the Pacific Northwest. So we have a high to the east here. We have a low up to our northwest. A combination of the two creates this channel in between both of those pressures and allows for the wind to be created and move right through our area. This morning, though, it is fairly quiet, and we're into the 40s for most of us. 39 though in Carson City, 30 in Truckee. Not a ton of wind right now, but again, winds will start to ramp up later today and especially tomorrow. I'll have a full look at your forecast coming up here in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Angela. We're counting down the days to a special 2 News Nevada investigation into juvenile justice. And I hope you'll join me Thursday night, because we're going to take a deep dive into an issue that's recently come up in the community. The Washoe County School Board is adapting its smoking policies to respond to new technology and an increase in younger students vaping. But it's not just an issue within the district, it's also a pressing issue for the folks at Juvenile Hall. Since 2017, when recreational marijuana became legal in Nevada and people lined up around the block to get it,
I just bought the first weed I've ever bought legally.
Washoe County Juvenile Services has seen a 187% increase in referrals related to possession of a controlled substance. On top of that, a teen who might have smoked loose-leaf cannabis 10 or 20 years ago is now vaping it instead, without realizing that the consequences are much more severe.
The same child who before, or youth, teenager, who was smoking a joint is now vaping marijuana, not recognizing that what was once a lower level offense, that behavior was categorized as, is now a felony.
That's right, felony level charges for a nonviolent offense that's not considered a crime if you're an adult. It's a trend that not only concerns parents and students, but the taxpayer too. The school district now has to budget for tools that help officers respond to the increase.
We spend generally about $2,000 a year on a testing kit that tells us it's presumptive positive for a THC concentrate.
A test that will follow the accused delinquent child through the court process as they, again, add a felony to their record. A parental attitude toward marijuana products has also shaped how these felony cannabis offense trends have changed over the years. We spoke with advocates who are trying to get ahead of the issue, and we even have a personal story from a former juvenile delinquent caught with marijuana. For the full story, tune into the Juvenile Justice Investigation, airing Thursday night at 10.
And coming right up on 2 News